How long gone? We're back in this bitch. Beautiful sunny day here in Los Angeles. Thank God Jason is with me and not stuck in a submarine, dying a slow death, looking for the remains of the Titanic. He's here. He's available to podcast. And that is something that I can be thankful for. So I'm glad you're here, Jason. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty great. I just got home from the gym, pumped it up, had a smoothie. I'm drinking the smoothie now. Everything is perfect. My life is on track, and I'm doing great.
I'm drinking the smoothie now. So there was a fairly big announcement today from our friends over at Live Nation Inc. They're taking the goths to your hometown of Huntington Beach for something called Darker Waves Fest. That is headlined by New Order, Tears for Fears, and then continues, Devo, Soft Cell, X, TSOL.
TSOL, come on, guys.
I know. Death in Vegas, Kavinsky, The Cardigans. She Wants
Kavinsky?
Revenge. That's right.
The Cardigans? Oh.
Is there anything I want to see less than New Order in Huntington Beach outdoors? Maybe I can't think of anything.
Unfortunately, out of all those bands, I think New Order is the only... I've actually never seen New Order play, which is a travesty because they're one of my favorite bands of all time, and they play so many shows still for how old they are. I'm definitely going to go. You said this is a Golden Voice production?
Nope, it's a Live Nation, but I'm sure...
Oh, Live Nation. Okay, well then I'm not going. Fuck that.
But
I don't fuck with the Nation, baby. The only nation is Nation of Islam, the Cherokee Nation.
Those are the only nations I fuck with. Yeah, I guess I'm just a little bit, obviously the festival business is what keeps everything going because they're able to pay bands for a fortune for a 45-minute set, but the setting always seems to be, at least for a certain kind of band, maybe not ideal. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Do I want to see any of these bands outdoors? No. Do I want to see any band outdoors? Maybe no.
Also, if it's in Huntington Beach, potentially on sand.
Yeah, that's what
because they have. I know where this. I don't know exactly, but there's not like giant venues in Huntington Beach where you can have like a big festival. I think it has to be on the beach, and I think I know what it is, and it's usually like, Slightly Stupid and the Cottonmouth Kings, and then Sublime featuring Rome, and
Huntington Legends,
a band that's sort of Nazi-ish, not so much anymore.
I just don't know if I just think some of this stuff is like, I guess it works. Obviously, it just seems like,
of course,
really the just not ideal for seeing bands.
Well, yeah, I mean who cares. No, they don't. Nobody cares. It is what it is. You can't go see your favorite giant band at an intimate theater unless you're like a super cool person. And I'm going to go see James Blake at the cemetery. No, it's kind of super chill.
I know.
It's just like gone are the days when you can go see a band in a setting that's not terrible if they're a big ass band.
No, it's true. It's true.
Unless they do like a secret set at Soho House, like a secret them jeans DJ.
Or you can do the Bar Italia Takes New York, where they play 5 shows in 2 days, which is also like old school, and I kind of like it. It's like we're gonna play Mercury Lounge, and then we're gonna play like a weird party with the Ion Pack at a house in Bed-Stuy, and all of them are gonna sell out. So maybe the 700 to 1,000 people that want to see us can all see us. They just got to go, you just got to chase us around town.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
That happened back in the day. I mean, the Strokes did that all the time, and bands in LA, would be like, oh, the Silver Sun Pickups, they're doing like 7 nights in a row all over, first at this place and this place and this place. It's, it's great to drum up buzz. It makes sense. But I want to talk more about the submarine, though, because it's such a juicy little.
So these rich people paid $250,000, $250,000 each, to go inside of a locked, small, very small. When I saw how small it was, I was stunned.
Yeah, I was claustrophobic on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm claustrophobic seeing just a simple JPEG on Twitter. And they send it. I guess you pay. It's like the broke version of going to space with Elon, kind of. It's only $250, and they were going to view the remains of the Titanic.
Yeah,
which seems like at this point couldn't be much.
I mean, you know just due to erosion and degradation.
Exactly.
The sea is a cruel beast, isn't she?
Exactly. I'm not a scientist, but it seems like salt water and weather. Just
salt water can't melt steel beams. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist like you, but it just seems like this is an amazing racket. And if all of these people die, do they deserve it? I don't want to say that, but I mean, I don't know if you saw this. This is breaking from TMZ.com, but one of the billionaires who is dying in the ocean, his son went to the Blink-182 show and was like, "This is what I need to be doing. This helps me deal with pain."
So the son was like, "You know what? I'm going through it right now. Dada is, he drowned to death, maybe 17 hours ago. What I need to do right now, and because I already got non-refundable tickets, is go see Blink-182 live at Red Rocks, and that's my therapy."
Yeah, that's his therapy, and I mean,
honestly, that sounds psychotic, but it's also something that I have done, because I remember I went to the club on 9/11 because sure. This is a bad national tragedy, but it happened a long ways away from West Hollywood.
I got to make 500 tonight. I mean, do they want me to suffer as well? I don't think.
No, I mean, I was not DJing. I was like a
you were just going to turn up.
No, I mean 9/11 was a long time ago. I was just like a little
bro. You're old as hell.
Teeny bopper clubber.
That was 2001. You were probably like 1920.
I know what 9/11 was, Chris.
It seems like you don't. I mean, it seems like you may know the September 11th part.
This was before DJing when you said I needed to go make $500. This was when I made $500 a month. Okay, this was not.
Okay,
this was not. I got to go pick up a quick DJ set.
This is when you were doing your SAG style acting. When you were doing
this was when I was doing my featured extra work, as well as making an assortment of graffiti hats.
Okay, okay, good to know. I'm glad you were. But do you think all these people are going to die? Do you think they deserve to die? Are rich people as stupid as they keep telling us that they are? Because it's like it's the same thing. I mean, this is obviously a more extreme version, but it's like when the rich guy buys the plane and he can't let someone else fly it because of his ego. He has to fly it, kills his whole family.
Right.
It's like, do you gotta? Why not just be rich? Why can't you just relax, buy a Porsche, and be and chill?
Yeah, I think once you hit a certain age and you hit a certain number of dollars in the bank account where it doesn't matter anymore, you can just buy anything every single day for the rest of your life and it doesn't matter. Then you have to start. I mean, they talked about this in the HBO show, the other two, how as soon as your bank account goes into the B's, you just turn into an instant douchebag. You lose all your hair, you get face fillers, and you have a giant thirst to go into outer space this very second.
I just have
It's just what happens to you.
I guess.
And I think you're like, what can I do? I guess I can explore other places that other people in the world who don't have as much money as I do have access to. You can buy yourself into anywhere in America or on Earth, whatever, that's fine. But space and the sea.
I get it. I get that. I guess, but just the risk is so. I mean, I guess maybe you just think you're
living on the edge,
it's like
baby.
the same energy as like a teenager. You think nothing bad can happen to you, and maybe like it comes back around at 60 when you're that rich that nothing bad can happen to you.
Yeah.
But life experience should teach you that that's not the case. But I guess here we are. So these people are all going to die because they wanted to look at old stuff. And this is something to consider, Jason.
Well, I think the part that's a little cruel is because, we all do want to see, megalomaniac billionaires die, or not die, but just you want to see their lives be inconvenienced at the very least, So when it's like,
for yourself.
Kim Kardashian's private jet had to do an emergency landing in Santa Fe. Everyone's like, yeah, that bitch should have a dose of reality. I can't pay my child support. This fucking bullshit world, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's a bummer because they're rubbing it in by saying like, here's the freak show who invented this company and he's controlling this with a Logitech gaming device controller. And he's like, I built this off of scrap parts from Home Depot and Amazon. And you're wondering, how did this person who has billions of dollars or millions of dollars trust this grifter to literally do one of the scariest Final Destination things you could ever do? Is just like go 2.5, 3 miles into the bottom of one of the deepest parts of the ocean
so
in the world, where it takes hours to get there. And
like just us talking about this, even with our like stupid logic, it sounds insane. Like it sounds like what you just. But I want to see billionaires kind of sit down at the table and break bread with me. I don't want to see them die, but I do think that the like bloodlust that we have for rich people makes something like this like. People are loving this. Like, people are loving it. They're dunking on Twitter, and it's like, yo, these 12 people are going to die because they wanted to see an old boat. I think that's why they deserve to die, not because of being rich.
Right. I think we got the technical foul. We don't need the and one. Let's just
you know.
They've paid with their life.
It's crazy. But I think that this is going to end poorly.
I mean, I like that you still keep thinking that they're alive or like they're not dead yet.
Well, we haven't look until I see a body. You know how I am, and unless I see the body, I'm not declaring anybody dead. I've learned the hard way
over here.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way with some of my investigations. You know, you don't want to call it before it.
Listen, rookie, I don't call it until I see the body in my hands.
Exactly.
All right?
I do a pulse check and then I'm calling it.
In this town, I've seen it all. Okay.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. But yeah, it's going fucking down, and.
Yeah, it's going down.
I mean, it's going down. There's no other way to put it. It's an exciting week in entertainment, Jason, because we're getting two pretty big things. Oh, first of all, you watched the John Early special, right?
Oh yeah, everyone. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you already are aware of it. But if you haven't watched the HBO special, which they appear to be kind of shadow banning. It's definitely not featured at all anywhere on it, and you kind of have to dig into the bowels of HBO. Obviously, he's not a household name, but it's a very good special.
Special on Max is worth the subscription price. It really made me chuckle. Like last night, I was finishing it, and I couldn't really. I was annoyed because I was chuckling so hard. I was awake. You know what I mean? I'm trying to kind of drift.
Yeah,
to
don't
sleep.
watch it before bedtime, Chris.
I was trying to drift to sleep, but Early's doing some of his classic Early style bits, and I'm just I'm cracking up.
And the stuff that he does with his parents is so funny,
so good. So also, I like that the band just laughs in the background. Like they can't play it cool. They're just like laughing.
They've rehearsed it 700 times before, and they're still just like, God damn it.
They're still the shit where he tells them where like he flirts with every member of the band and then goes up to the backup singers and tells them to back off was just like I was fucking dying. It was so good.
Sitting on the drummer's lap like I can't do it. I don't know.
Paradiddle. I don't know.
My favorite part about it was when he was comparing. Oh, he was doing all the direct Trump quotes, grab her by the pussy, and I came on to her like a bit, and saying like, this is how, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a part where he talks about that involving him being gay as well. Really smart, really well done.
It was really good. The band was a nice twist, and like the way it was directed by Tim and Eric, both former guests of How Long Gone, and it's like it's or no, not directed by. I'm sorry, executive produced by.
It was absolutely
the way it's done is really cool and like keeps it moving in a way that I wasn't.
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks great. I wasn't expecting, but we also
well done.
We also get and just like that season 2.
Wait, when does that happen?
The same day as I believe as The Bear season 2, which comes out on Thursday, starring our guest today.
Fuck me,
Ebon Moss-Bachrach, one of the homies. You probably know him from The Bear. Obviously, he plays Richie. But you also know him from probably Girls. He's been in Wes Anderson movies, several Broadway productions.
I think he's a Marvel motherfucker now.
He's been dead on Law and Order at least once.
Star Wars.
I know he's done it all, and
he's low key been a zaddy for many years.
Low key zaddy, father of 2. Just a patron of the arts. You know what I mean? So,
and of course, he's making bread. So we're going to mostly talk about his sourdough starter program.
I hung out with him last week, and he was really on a tear. I learned a lot about him and kind of his personal style, which I also.
I can't wait to dig in.
I know you love to get into that stuff, but yeah, let's give Eben a jingle out there in Cobble Hill or whatever borough he lives in, and we'll figure out what's going on.
Lovely.
Eben, you're coming to us from your lair here. This really looks like I like this. Is this your house?
This is my house. This is where I am. Like, I don't know, like 80% of the time for the last 15 years.
Damn, bro.
I inhabit this space.
Is this your room at the house? Is this your office, or is this the general living quarters?
This is the general. There's like just a big open space here. My bedroom's over there. The kids' bedroom is over behind you guys, and then kitchen over there. It's we got it when Yelena was pregnant with Sasha, our first kid, and we were even more stupid than we are now then, and we sort of like designed this place like, oh, it'll be great for a couple years, and so we got like I guess this is the long way I said we have one bathroom.
No, okay. No, I didn't want to spoil it, but I met your daughter last week. I met Sasha last week.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking about having one bathroom and 2 teenage daughters, and I was like, that sounds insane. And I just assume that means you don't get to shower very much.
You shower at Equinox, Eben?
Yeah.
It's not Equinox. My gym reality is the Dodge YMCA. That's like, and like during COVID, the towels went away and they haven't come back yet. So it's like it's
tough. It's tough.
A metaphor for life, really.
Is your background blacked out or whited out, or you got like Terry Richardson's white wall behind you, Chris? What is
it's a jailhouse vibe I go for. No, I don't. This is the wall at our house in LA. I don't, instead of going like, I have the nice shelving here, that's a nicer background, but I just, the plug situation isn't situated well for my power needs.
Yeah.
For when you're podcasting, you need a lot of power, so I have to go jail mode. And
you need a lot of power.
You're not the first person to comment on the fact that I look like I'm in a weird place.
No, I just couldn't tell if it was like
a fake.
Like how they gets fuzzed out, and I'm just like, oh, okay. What are you hiding? Like,
what's most people usually think it's like Chris, blink twice if you are in danger, kind of sleeper cell kind of vibe.
Yeah. They keep me in the basement out here.
Yeah.
But it's not. We're getting beautiful natural light today, so it's more flattering than it can be sometimes.
You have I think I saw you have a little skylight situation there.
There's a beautiful skylight. Yeah, the house actually, a lot of the detail is nice, but there's a skylight in the living room that's like a triangle shape that really is flattering.
It's magical
at the right time. Yeah, it's at the right time of day. It's fucking magical. I'm happy. What have you ever lived in LA, or have you always lived in New York?
I've never lived in LA. I mean, I've spent months there working on stuff, but I've never signed a lease or owned anything there. And I don't know, my relationship with LA changes, I guess, from year to year. Probably that's typical for people. Let's see, the last couple times I was there, it was so hot, and I was working up in Santa Clarita, and it was just felt kind of insane to me, extra insane.
Yeah, because you were in a shitty part of LA and also the hottest part of LA, but they do a lot of filming over there, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on up there. But yeah, it was tricky. What was nice is I like to stay on the west side, like in Santa Monica, because it's cooler, and I like to go on the ocean. I like to run on the beach.
Yeah.
And also all my friends live on the east side, so I don't have to, if I want to see someone, I have to, no one's going to come to me, So I end up getting a lot of peace and quiet. I get a lot of nice alone time,
Yeah. That's nice. We love alone time.
All your cool LA friends are like, I'm not fucking going to Venice, bro. I don't even like you that much.
No, they don't even, they just kind of they'll just kind of it's just quiet, they won't even answer that question.
It's not up
it's
for
like
debate.
it's like the will you pick me up from LAX question.
No, it's I'm like, really, Giorgio Baldi ain't doesn't have the magnetism I guess it used to,
No, you need new friends, brother.
Yeah, you
hit
need
me with the Baldi.
You invite me to Giorgio Baldi, I'm hightailing it over there.
Yeah,
it beats most restaurants in Silver Lake, that's for sure. I'm surprised you've never lived here, but you do. I think of you as a New York guy. So
I've been here for a long time. When I started acting, there was a stupid kind of divide between New York and California actors. That sort of, I guess, just was a kind of symptom of like,
Yeah.
do you do plays or do you do like shitty like? Are you like a poor theater actor or are you like a rich multi-camera sitcom person? And I was always just like over here being a poor actor.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of really gone away. I don't buy into that anymore. But
It also used to be like you do movies or TV, and that's completely, or at least like movies got more respect, let's say, and I don't think that is the case anymore either.
No, I don't think so. And like some of the greatest playwrights are like writing TV series, so it's like you kind of just go where the good writing is. That's my feeling.
What's the vibe with plays, Eben? I really want to understand this because it seems like the hardest thing you can do for the least amount of money, but there's a lot of prestige and maybe personal growth and like personal satisfaction from doing it.
It's like fly fishing, Chris.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I don't think it's so lofty as all that. Like, I think it's just as an actor, you just don't have much power at all ever. You're just kind of at the beck and call. They tell you where to go. They cut up your performance. And doing a play, you're kind of that's the only time you're really sort of in control of how it's going to come out. So that coupled with, for me, like a really great, exciting, dangerous feeling of like getting up there, and so many mistakes can happen. So many mistakes do happen. And then you're just sort of scrambling. And there's this really incredible, like adrenal kind of thing. Like I describe it probably as akin to like, although not nearly as cool, but like being in a band and playing like a show versus like making a record.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It feels fucking good to like do a play and then come out and like take a bow,
sure.
And like have people have like people clap for you. Like I've never done a Broadway play. I've done a lot of Broadway plays, so the houses are like they cap out around like 500. I've never had like 3,000 people clap over it, but 500 people, like that still feels like pretty great.
That's sick. I've never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense because I've had a few friends that have done stuff over the years, and it just seems like you do 8 shows a week. It's like exhausting. It just seems so challenging in a way, but I guess that's the payoff is that it is challenging, so the reward is there at the end.
It's challenging, but then and it is exhausting, but it's deeply energizing, and you kind of feel like you're part of a community in that way. Like you go to the bar afterwards, and people from different plays are all out, and you sort of I don't know. It just was a very like kind of inclusive, cozy, validating kind of feeling for me. But I haven't done a play in like 7 years or something, I think.
That's kind of the vibe that I always was interested in, is like the when you're done with the show and then you go to the bar and everyone's sucking your dick and everyone's saying blah blah blah. It has like a Frasier kind of vibe to it, and I feel like Broadway is like the last place where that still exists, where you can just like go and hang out with all of your peers.
Yeah, I don't know. It does have that thing where you're doing a play and you're like, this is the only thing happening in the whole world right now.
Sure. Yeah. It's isolating in a good way.
Cocaine helps with that too.
Yeah. I just don't. I guess it's just, it seems like something that is, it's a little hard. I don't know. It's like a little hard to parse because the access is very different. You know what I mean? Like movie, you turn on the fucking TV, it's there. You know, it's the effort required from the patron as well as the actor is different, I think, than any other medium.
Yeah, and also
is like for entertainment.
Just the price of the ticket is so fucking dumb and prohibitive that it's like it's so expensive. Like, I don't know. I went to see a play the other day. I don't see plays much at all because I think for the most part they're pretty bad. But I went and I think like seeing a good play is like an incredible experience, and seeing a bad play is just like time never slows down as much as when you're in the audience of a bad play. Like it's insane.
Screeching halt.
Okay, so it's theater. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you want to fucking burn some money. But it was like, I took a friend to see a matinee the other day, and it was like $400.
Oh shit!
What?
Really?
Yeah.
And is this a well known? Is this like something people are clamoring to see, or is this just kind of like something you wanted to check out?
I think it was a Broadway play that starred. It was called Summer 1976 by David Auburn, well-known playwright, directed by Daniel Sullivan, like acclaimed director, starring with just Jessica Hecht and Laura Linney, just like two of them.
Okay.
But it was a Wednesday matinee.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like I feel like I overpaid a little bit. I
mean, Wednesday matinee for $400 is a big afternoon out. I agree. That's like
I mean that's like a music festival ticket, or like those are like that's true. Going to go see Adele in Vegas type shit.
Yeah, no, it's big.
I mean, Laura Linney's great,
But then what?
we love Laura.
Is you just get a lot of like old rich people in there, and that's just not really like. When that's where the metaphor or the analogy between like a rock show and a play, like that's where it ends,
So it's kind of like Giorgio Baldi.
Yeah.
I mean, the crowd. I mean, that's the big complaint. I mean, that's the big complaint about music now is that like if you want to see any like legacy act, it's going to cost you. If The Cure is playing tonight at Madison Square Garden, they're doing like 3 nights at Madison Square Garden. If I wanted to go buy tickets right now, 2 tickets would cost me $1,000, and like,
is that right? Wow.
Yeah. Like at this point, because, they sell out, then it's like, you got to buy it from StubHub or whatever. But like, that's just how much it costs to see like the bands you grew up with. If they're still popular, if people still care, that's just what it costs. There's no way around it. And you kind of just have to swallow that.
And he doesn't even move. He just kind of stands there.
No. I mean, yeah, he sounds good.
Yeah.
He looks insane.
Yeah.
But I think it's like
they wheel him out.
Yeah, but I think that at our age, because you're probably just a little bit older than Jason and I, but like, they know you have the money. The people who grew up with it now have the money to pay for it. That's kind of how it works. That's why all these bands reuniting. That's why it works, is because we all have the money to spend and we're willing to do it to like relive that part of our youth or something along those lines.
And also we all know that where you're sitting in a concert now is sort of a social status thing, whereas back in the day, I'm assuming you go see Cure in in '86, you get a general admission ticket. And you sit where you sit, and now it's like, oh, you're sitting in section B orchestra row. Oh, that's fucking. What are you, a poor
I can't
loser?
be seen.
What's wrong
I can't be seen in the GA. Evan, you know that.
I know. I would never even look with you there. But then do you want to be in like the Amex pre-sale section? Because that's not a great look either.
No, we don't pay for sex. We don't pay for sex. No. It ain't tricking if you got an Amex. That's for people who go to Summit and Soho House.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a proud American Express card user, but I don't know if I want to be necessarily sequestered with other American Express card users.
I've been to one of those things. A friend of ours used to work with Alicia Keys, and there was an Alicia Keys concert at the Ace Hotel downtown LA, only for Amex, high level Amex people, and it was an unbearable crowd. The way that these like super rich Amex card holders were behaving as if really mean to the staff, so entitled, just because they have one credit card.
You paid $500 for a yearly membership. Like, settle down, dude. The Centurion crowd, or whatever the fuck it's called.
The barrier to entry of that card is not high enough to be acting like that. $500 is that's a reasonable fee. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I'm bummed I'm missing The Cure tonight, unfortunately, because I missed him in LA and I'm missing him in New York. So I might have to fly
go catch him at Red Rocks,
because they're doing like Middle America.
My daughter's going.
She is?
Sasha's going. Her best friend's mom, I think, works for Microsoft or something. So somehow she got tickets. So Sasha and her buddy Neela are going to see The Cure tonight. I'm like jealous and proud, and pretty psyched for her.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how old is she?
She's 16.
Okay, so yeah, you must feel really proud that your 16-year-old child is making a culturally correct decision and not going to see some bullshit,
I can't take too much responsibility for that. Like Yelena's like strictly new wave, like we like her like she's like really focused. I'm like, I did not grow up listening to The Cure. I was like a 90s hip hop fascist kind of dude, like strictly. It was like strictly outer borough from 91 to like 98.
Okay, like a sound bombing volume 1 and 2, like a ruckus guy.
Yeah, I would I would be in line with the backpack at the wetlands, waiting to get in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but Sasha's got better, she's got more, I guess, eclectic taste, we call it.
Sure.
I don't know. It's because I feel like with kids, they could go the other way where they like rebel against you and are like, fuck you, losers. I want to listen to Blackpink,
Yeah.
But the fact that she embraced it in some way is a good sign.
I don't want to listen to Soft Cell, Mom. Get out of my fucking room.
Yeah, exactly. That is, I didn't know you were a hip hop head like that. Is that something that you still explore?
I've kind of, like all dads, like I'm still sort of there, like I'm my current hip hop, like I don't know too much of what's going on right now.
Sure.
I think like Tyler, the creator, is really great, but like I'm like, I don't know really what's happening. I'm not an authority on any of that stuff. I like, I still listen to my old, the Black Moon and Helter Skelter and like, whatever, Cocoa Bees, like whatever. Like I'm just, Black Sheep. Like, I don't know. It just goes, I don't know. Biggie, Nas, Mobb Deep.
Wow.
What was your graffiti name?
No, I didn't get into that.
What? Okay. So then you were breaking.
No graffiti?
You were breaking then?
I guess I just I guess if I had to choose a discipline, a hip hop discipline, like
everyone had a job. Everyone had a job. What's
discipline? A discipline? Which of the
choose an element.
5 elements of hip hop.
I don't know. I guess I would make beats a little bit with some of my friend Jesse back in Amherst. We would make beats a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't like, believe it or not, Amherst, Massachusetts was not like Beat Street. There wasn't like
the hot. Yeah. It wasn't the hotbed for hip hop culture. You weren't really.
Okay.
I'm not totally surprised by that. Did you move? But you moved to New York like young, right?
Yeah. Well, I went to college here, and so I guess when I was 17. So so I'm 46 now, so almost 30 years.
I love the idea of you being like an actor, but also listening to that music and trying to reconcile those two things as like an 18-year-old, because those do not go hand in hand, I feel like.
You don't think so?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Chris, have you ever seen Hamilton?
No.
Timmy Chalamet grew up emulating Soulja Boy, and now look at him.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's been pretty successful, I guess. That's true. Maybe that modern era led him to success. I wasn't totally aware.
When the Hamilton craze was really like in its apex a few years ago, and it was just like I would go to my friends' houses for dinner, and their kids would be like rapping from Hamilton, and it was just fucking everywhere, and it drove me so crazy. And I'm sure it's a really great musical, and that kid, Lin-Manuel Miranda is obviously a very talented dude. But I started putting out.
I'm sure it's not.
I started putting out this story where I was like, people were like, have you seen it yet? And I was like, yeah, I saw it, but I don't know. I left at intermission. This is like when tickets were like $4,000. I just started telling people I saw, but I started falling asleep, and I don't know. I just left at intermission.
Had a super long day, just one of those days, So I just bailed out halfway.
Yeah,
those tickets were so crazy. It was like you had to be like a former president to get tickets to that at one point. Like it was so insane.
Yeah, I think it was unique.
Yeah, it was really unique. I mean, I think it was probably good overall for like Broadway as like a thing, because I think it brought a lot of people into that world that had never been there before.
Was that a good thing?
Yeah, and I guess hip hop too. Like that's what I was getting frustrated about, because I was like, oh, people are hearing this music kind of for the first time, and he's definitely influenced by all the people I named. And then I was like, well, there's so much better shit out there. Like this is not where it began. And
this is not it.
This is
no. It's that is a great point. No, that is a great point.
I wanted to talk to you about Brad just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I know you're a man of the grain, right?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we can do it.
Let's go. I had 2 questions. Number one, we were talking about this on the last episode with Liz Fair, but we had a previous guest, and she was mentioning that she makes her own bread, and she said that she feels like a kind of a spiritual connection when she makes bread in her home with starter that is sort of infused with her own personal bacteria.
Okay.
And maybe, all the bacteria in the room is coming from her and recycling into the bread and the starter, which she eats, and then that creates more bacteria. And she said it kind of has this like spiritual kind of connection to it. Is that something that you can relate to at all?
I don't really have that kind of auto-fillating vibe with my bread, but I do like. I think it's
yes,
cool.
I can auto my own fillet.
Yeah, I think it's cool that the yeast sort of reflects the microbes of the environment that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of interesting, and like how that changes whatever the bread is. You could take the yeast and bring it across the country, become something else.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really have a spiritual thing. I started baking because everyone all of a sudden had like gluten allergies, like this thing that I never heard of before.
That's because it's fake. That's because Eben, it's fake, and it's what women do, so they don't have to eat bread.
No,
that's why.
They exist now because of the vaccines. But yeah, go on.
Exactly. I continue.
That was a joke. Just to let you know.
No. Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I didn't take any vaccines just because I just was doing my own sourdough.
I'm doing my own sourdough research.
I'm kind of good, actually, so I don't know.
Okay, so you were like, so everyone is saying, hey, I'm gluten-free, and then you said there's got to be a better way. I'm going to make some true, real bread.
Yeah, I was just like, so I don't trust like, industrial farming or, like I just figured like the flour was probably really bad or had like, or whatever, like
it's got like preservatives, stabilizing ingredients, bleaching, and all this shit.
Yeah, what's the like the chemical that's on everything, like Roundup or whatever?
Oh yeah, Roundup.
The
GMOs.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me just try to take power over it, and so I just started making it, and I don't know, I just like really got into it. I don't know, I like it. It calms me. It's like it's fun. It's messy. It's like I don't know, I like it.
How many loaves are you doing a month, doing a week? What do you have a schedule going?
Well, when I'm like in it, I'll bake twice a week, and every time I bake, I'm usually making 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I like to give one away.
I was going to ask, is this like a gift? Do you keep one for you, one for them? Are you carb loading?
Well, I got a family of 4, I got people, I got mouths to feed here. No, so I'm not taking it all. It's not all like just the head stash, it's like I
got a lot of chicken katsu sandos to make for these growing boys and girls. Okay, when you make the 2 loaves per day, one stays in the house, one gets given away. Do you give the better one away or do you keep the better one?
Oh, that's case by case. That's like I think about it. It depends. I'm like a show off. It's partly like
it's your love language.
Selfless, but like it's mostly just like it's a flex a lot of the time. I think.
Well, for that reason, does that mean that you keep and eat the shittier or the uglier looking one because you want to impress more than you want to taste?
Yeah, it depends on how much currency the recipient has. Like it depends where it's going.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Who's this loaf going to?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess if you're cooking 2 loaves side by side at the same time, what is how different can they be? I'm sorry, I'm a novice. Like
you fool.
I apologize. I'm embarrassing myself for asking this question, but I need to know, how crazy can it get? Like how different can they be?
No, it's not like you don't get like an Arnold Schwarzenegger and a Danny DeVito. Like you're just gonna get like one's gonna be like blown out of the like it depends like when the shaping. Like I might have one that kind of like the side pops out a lot.
Okay.
But for the most part, they look pretty similar.
Are you cooking other things as well, or is this your specialty? Are you the cook of the household?
I'm the cook, man. I'm the cook. I'm always when I'm. That's kind of. I don't really have a desk here. Everyone has a desk. Everyone's got their own space. There's very little closet space here, and so the kitchen is kind of my lab. Like that's
your area,
like my space there. Yeah, that's my area. So, and I don't know. I just get like a lot of pleasure out of it. I like to wake up early, wake up with the kids, make them breakfast. Like I enjoy, there's like a kind of like short order cook vibe here in the morning where I can make like 2 different breakfasts and then like 2 different lunches a lot of the time. When I'm here, maybe it's and it also is like a salve for my conscience because when I'm often gone, when I'm working, I'm just not present at all.
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like I'm making up for lost time when I'm here. And when I'm not working, I got very little going on in my life. So I have time to kind of like hang out and just like fill my day,
I have very little going on in my life.
What are we doing today, girls?
Yeah, girls. What do you guys want to skip school today? I got nothing going on. So
no, Yelena will often ask me. She's like, "What'd you do today?" And I was like, "Well, I thought a lot about dinner, and I walked around and I compiled the ingredients. I think of it like I would have if we lived in France, it would be a perfectly respectable day. But
Yeah.
like here in
Sure.
like, New York City, it's just I just come off as like lazy and feckless or something.
I mean, as long as you're bringing home some bacon, keeping a roof over the head, what I do today,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
just killed it, and then on top of it made you dinner. Wow.
Just killed it. I don't know what the fuck you did today. I do think that, as you know, I can't, obviously I'm not an actor or an artist of any sort, but I say all the time that I need some, especially in New York, I find myself I'll sit down in front of Balthazar for an hour and a half and just watch the people go by, and I need that to kind of fill my tank up. Like I just need to witness that. And I feel like that's what you're saying. You kind of wander around, you do your thing, but it all goes back to the place you need it to go. It's not a waste of time.
No, yeah, exactly. Sure, I'll keep telling myself that it sort of fills up the reservoir.
Exactly.
But New York is great that way, man. There's so much. It's great, and it's also deceptive because it can be counterproductive because there's so much energy in the streets that you can have a full day without doing fuck all. You can have like you feel like you did something, but really you're just out, and the energy you just sort of absorbed, through osmosis, like all the other energy, but you didn't really do much of anything except walk around.
I was just a part of something amazing today.
Yeah.
By just kind of walking around. I got a coffee and did some cat calling at Balthazar for a while. Another job well done.
So are you a Balthazar regular? Are you there? Like, what's your juice like at Balthazar when you show up?
No juice. It's actually one of the most embarrassing things about, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm embarrassed about. One of those is not having juice at any Keith McNally restaurants after being a patron for years and years.
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it, Chris?
It does make me think, Jason, and I'd prefer not to in this case, but I'm able to. During the day, I really like to go to the bakery and get a coffee, and now they got rid of the benches because of the COVID huts. So they now have these two tables. If you're looking at the door of the bakery to the right of the bakery, and no one's ever sitting there, so you're sitting there, and it's just the absolute shit show of Spring Street people watching, right there. And then I go for dinner. I go probably once a week for lunch or dinner. Nothing super crazy. I do love an omelet for lunch. I found that's very responsible.
Yeah. And for dinner too. I always forget you can do that for dinner. That's kind of like, yeah, why not?
If I get it for dinner, I will unfortunately have to get fries, and that makes it a little bit of a different animal.
But for lunch, it's with a little leafy greens.
Just some just some leafy greens. I'll allow myself one piece of the delicious bread with a little bit of the cold hard butter. That's one thing they can improve over there. The butter's a little hard when it comes out. I don't love that. And if I'm with someone at lunch, maybe a shrimp cocktail, to kind of set the mood.
I like it there. It's an amazing room. It could be inconsistent, but I don't know. It's always fun, and it's crazy. But it changed a lot too. No, like after McNally's Instagram zeitgeist thing, it's become kind of like it's got a little bit of like a Times Square vibe there. No.
Well, I would say almost any restaurant in New York that's good is got that vibe now because of TikTok and Dumois. Like it's ruined. Like you can't go to Via Carota. You can't go to all these places are kind of fucked because of TikTok basically. So it's like you have tourists making reservations 3 months in advance. So that it's just you can't go unless you really prepare.
But Balthazar does feel a little different, like Evan was saying, because there's a person attached to it. Like all those other TikTok restaurants is just the restaurant and the food and that's it. But Keith McNally is there, and you're like, maybe
that's
he'll
true.
Be there. Maybe he'll post my little napkin note that I leave him. There's a person that's attached to it, which makes it more fun,
Dear Keith, me and my fiance had the best fuck whatever, Yeah.
I'm excited for the book. I do think the book, if he really does it right, it could be a classic. If he really lets it spray in the memoir, I think it could be really good.
And the editor leaves all the slurs in, it could really be something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think that guys like that writing a memoir, and I don't know, it's just like they've seen so much, but they were never like the guy. Like they're not famous, but they were just around for everything. That's usually my favorite type of when that works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure the stuff they would see, from like 11 to 3 in the morning over there is incredible. I didn't even think that there was a book for a while. I thought it was just a myth that he was saying, well, when the book comes out, I'm really happy that there actually is a book.
That would be cool if he constantly teases a book that he has no deal for. He's not even working on anything.
No, I mean, it's absolutely plausible that he would even post a fake cover and a fake release date.
No, you're right. You're right. It is.
God bless the guy.
He's lived a lot of life, but I think I don't know. I like it because it's down the street too. But those places are, it's harder and harder to go to anywhere, like a neighbor, even in your neighborhood. I mean, I'm sure any place that's like a neighborhood restaurant that's good, if enough people go there and talk about it on TikTok or Instagram, it's a wrap, And we talked about this a little bit. I talked about it with Chris too, Chris Storer, but the menus being influenced now by TikTok because people want everything's done table side now because it's good to film.
Right.
Like mozzarella cheese sticks are good because you can pull them apart.
We need food with motion now instead of Instagrammable tweezer food. We want stuff that is gooey and melty and you can light it on fire and pour it on top.
Like mozzarella is way more cinematic than like Fontino or something. Like, you think these are choices? These are choices being made, I guess, in the kitchen or something, right? Like people.
Yeah. What we used to prioritize flavor, and now we're prioritizing the cinematographic elements of the food.
The possibilities are endless,
which is terrible.
When it comes to mozzarella, you know that
it's bullshit.
That's insane. It is bullshit. I used to go for food to restaurants, and now I really just go for the room and for the vibe.
My man.
I'm not that interested in the food anymore. I don't know. I just want to be in some kind of something that feels old, something that can transport me a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause especially if you're a home cook and you can kind of make whatever you want. You only really want to go out to a restaurant where it's like a type of food that you cannot make at home, like sushi or some crazy stuff involving a wok or things that you don't have access to. But if it's just regular food, I want to go to a place where a person that's older than me has given me a martini and I'm sitting there on a bench and you can chill. And the food is not the most important part about it.
Exactly. And that's not just high-end stuff. That we love to go out to Bay Ridge. There's a restaurant on Bay Ridge called Gino's that's been there forever. They got a great little sign that says no tank tops in the dining room. And it's just such a strong I don't know, such a strong environment that it's transporting and it's great, and you just take their ride for a little while. It's really nice.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, restaurants have things have gone up, inflation's real, so it's very expensive to go to a nice restaurant these days. I talk about it with my brother a lot, because he'll go out and he'll get frustrated about he spent $250 and he wasn't sure how much there was to even show for it. And I was like, yeah, if you give me $1,000 and we do 4 people at my house, I can get the best steaks. We can drink incredible wine. We never do it, but yeah.
I could if
but
I wanted.
There's something there, though.
If I wanted to spend 2 days preparing for you guys to come over for dinner, I could absolutely do that. I would prefer not to, but I could if it
yeah, exactly. Ahead, then you guys would have to come over to my house, and that's kind of why we're not going to do that. So
I want to talk about the show a little bit and just how much time had you spent in Chicago before you signed up for this ride?
Very, very little. I was on a movie called The Lakehouse, a famous Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves, piece of cinema history, and
a fine film.
I was there for a couple months doing that, and then I literally had not been back to Chicago until the day we started shooting. Or the day we got there for rehearsals for the pilot of The Bear.
Okay, so you didn't. Okay, because I wondered if you had any feelings about it, or if you were excited to go back, or if it was oh, here we go, I'm going to fucking Chicago. I hope the show's good.
There was a little bit of that.
Sure. Sure. That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
I'm not like a total New York kind of complete elitist, but I do kind of cities are tough to be in. Cities are not they're loud, and I'm kind of I got to get something back if I want to be, what I mean? I'd rather be out in I'd be in like Wyoming or Montana or somewhere beautiful if I'm not going to be in New York a lot of the time.
Because
So yeah,
you've shot in. I mean, I'm sure you've shot all over the world. I imagine you've worked for a long time, and I'm sure some of those locales are cooler than others.
You know what I like? Like
Santa Clarita is not high up on the list.
No, Santa Clarita is not high up on the list, but there's like weird, surprising ones. Like I was making this TV show in Rhode Island for a couple of years, and I was like staying in Providence, which like I love like that city. I don't know. It's like a small.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's like a really awesome little city that was like New England, but also not so puritanical like Boston or anything like that. There was like a warmth there, and history was alive there. Like I really love that city.
So when you're on location, leaving your home, are you like a habitual guy who has to like bring certain elements from your home life when you're on the road, like your special little coffee mug or like however you do things, or you just immerse yourself in the new city?
No, I like to leave everything. I don't take much at all. Like I like every time I pack and go somewhere, like I try to take less things. I live like a monastic, quasi monastic, I'll say, life when I'm on location. Like I'll take a guitar, and that's it. Like I'm happy to I don't need to have my coffee. I don't need to have my things. I live I live with like a maximalist. There's a lot of objects in my house, and I just like the simplicity of just a simple, plain, unadorned hotel room is a really nice sorbet for me.
Cleanse that pee. Okay, question: when you travel with your guitar, is it a full size guitar? Or are we talking more ukulele here?
No, we're like it depends. This season I took an electric guitar and a small amp. Sometimes I'll take like a nylon string guitar. We're going on vacation for a while, and I just took, and my kids were like expressing interest in playing some guitar, so I just picked up like a Baby Martin, which is a 3/4 guitar. Which is nice maybe for their smaller hands, and it's easier to travel with. I've traveled with a ukulele. It's a look, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Arcade Fire's in town.
I like the admission. You're like, under oath, I have traveled with a ukulele before.
I think that's really sweet though, going on a family vacation and being like, hey, let's not forget the guitar. That's like a crazy thing for Chris and I to think, I guess. But you guys like sit around and play music and hang out together like a well-adjusted group of people?
No, that would be a stretch. But they all take like a lot of art supplies. I'm not an artist, and like Elaine is very productive and will put like during the hottest part of the day, she'll spend like a couple 2-3 hours inside drawing or working on something. She's always working. And so during that time, I also like to at least kind of look productive, or I think I'm gonna maybe do something. So now I think it's nice. I think it's nice, but it's not like a Partridge Family vibe. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That tracks. But I didn't know you were such a guitar player. I didn't know this was one of your passions.
No, I'm not. I mean, it is a passion, but I'm not good or anything. But it's an interesting. I mean, it's such a giving instrument. You can kind of go, and there's so much like now on like YouTube or whatever. I was kind of thinking about, I love like bossa nova, I love Brazilian music, and I was like gonna try to, that's sort of my goal, is like to try to learn some of those sort of more unusual exotic chords, like some major seventh chords and ninth chords, these kind of things that they play. Also they play like Spanish style, where you got you're playing with the pinky. You don't have that pinky, and so I'm gonna try to use my whole right hand.
So you're going nylon string, flamenco, classical, long coat dealer.
I'm going steel string.
Okay.
The Baby Martin has steel strings, but I'm gonna try to.
That's sick.
This is a good.
Get some bossa going.
I like. There's a vacation goal for you. I like this. I like that your family pushes you to be productive on vacation. Maybe that's. I hate vacation. I think it's so boring. Like I just can't do it.
I know.
It's a nightmare.
We all know, Chris. Well,
but I'm saying this changes things.
This gives you a North Star. It gives you a goal that you're working towards versus like, I want to finish The Guest.
Yeah, exactly. It seems good. It might be good for me.
I think it's nice to frame the day. I like to wake up early and swim and then come back. And then, I my goal always is to in the summertime to try to make like lunch, do like your like lunch is the big meal, and then everyone like that Spanish style, and then like take a nap, and then there's this sort of time in the hottest part of the day where you like then do something, and then the sun goes down, and you swim again, and like so that's I'm trying to take my cues from the from the old country.
Yeah, have the weather and the elements affect your day more so than it does for the average person nowadays.
Yeah, you're following God's light, basically, is what you're saying.
I mean that's truly an amazing way to live, and if you can do it, that's great. I feel like you are ready to one day retire somewhere in Europe and live off the land, go to the farmer's market every day, make some Spanish food.
Bolts of linen, just draping. I'm just draping.
No, bro,
from now,
no, you are not that guy. You're gonna act until you're dead. You're gonna be acting at 90, 100%.
I hope so. I don't know that I'll get to 90, but I hope. But I love my job, man. I love to keep doing it. It gives me energy. But I'm good. But I'm good at like if you're not like if you don't become like whoever like Chris Evans or like. Overnight, like you got a lot of time off, and you got to figure out how you're going to get through that stuff. So I got good very early on at like, being unemployed. So I'm good at vacation. I often this was a very busy year. I'm very happy to have vacation, and spend some time with my family. But it's a powerless job in many ways, and you're sort of waiting for a call. So that's infuriating and powerless and disenfranchising place to be. So you have to sort of take it and own it.
When you say you're very good at being unemployed, I think Chris and I can both relate to that. But we often use drugs to achieve that sweet spot. Is that something that you do as well, or not so much nowadays?
Perhaps in the past I dabbled, but like these days it's more of a sober, sober-ish sort of thing. But yeah, I definitely filled like a lot of like my early days with just, I mean, weed can really, be a great co-pilot.
Sure. It's one of the elements of hip hop, actually.
It is. It's the kind of unspoken sixth element of hip hop. That's a good point, Jason.
I mean, yeah, making bread and listening to some bossa nova and jazz, I can't imagine doing that not high on marijuana, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, I don't know what happened. Maybe what also like when weed got legalized and it became like so suburban and it lost a lot of its luster for me.
It's never been less cool. Took
it's all crazy. The danger out of it.
Yeah, like
back when weed was theater.
We have a lot of musicians on this show, and we talk to them because Ebon. I know you listen. We talk to them about syncs, and we talk about like where their music's used. But I think with an actor, I feel like I want to talk to you about something that you missed out on that you were like, damn, that would have changed my life. Like something that you went deep down the road with. You auditioned 3 or 4 times. You thought you were going to get it, and then it goes to someone else. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. I thought I had this one. Like I felt really good about it.
Oh man. I don't know. I probably blocked that stuff out. No.
I got a 4th callback for Don Draper, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Not in this household. We don't do that in this household.
No, I don't want to get into the weeds there. No, I'm thankful.
It could also be a musical. It could be a musical sing talk. I mean, you've played in bands before, right?
No, I've had so I think that one thing that I think is kind of funny that I've seen over the years is like how actors want to be musicians and musicians want to be actors.
Sure,
totally.
And I think that's sort of like I think about that sometimes. Wonder why, because I definitely feel like there was another version where I could have just been fucking selling out fucking arenas,
Mm-hmm.
And like,
yeah. Keanu Reeves just reunited Dog Star. And they are playing festivals.
Oh, he knows.
He's come.
He knows.
He's come fully back around, and where he's like, I guess I can cash in on this now. And these guys probably need. I'm sure the other guys need the money, so it's a good situation.
What kind of venues are they playing at?
That's a good question.
I think they're literally playing like festivals, like because they can get booked on they can play in the afternoon at a big festival.
But isn't it so weird? Because Keanu, when it first came around, he was very popular then. That was like late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
He was still huge, but he would play play like the Viper Room and do like, 200 cap rooms. I feel like now he could sell thousands of tickets of just people that want to be in the same room as Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, they want to see
even
him.
if they think the music is shit.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's great.
I've never heard it. I've never listened to it.
I've never listened to Dog Star before. I played Keanu when I was in Chicago making that movie. We would sometimes after work we'd like go back and like jam. He had like a big acoustic bass, which is like a pretty esoteric instrument, you know. And I would like it.
Unless you're doing Nirvana Unplugged, it doesn't get a lot of action.
I love the idea of you and Keanu just jamming, and he's got a fucking acoustic bass. Like that is a wild instrument.
Can I play guitar, Keanu? No. Big bass.
Big bass is kind of my thing. That's where I forget because I guess he plays bass in Dog Star, the classic bass player singer, which is less rare than it used to be.
Yeah, who did that's like
I think Slayer does that.
Is that
Sting?
Not the Cure.
Kiss?
The Cure does that or no? Like is he?
No. I think the Police. I can't think of the Police comes to mind first to me,
right?
Because Sting is a shredder. We all know that.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah, Lemmy. That's a big one. That's a good one.
Sting. Yeah, it's got to be Lemmy.
Yeah, that's it. Probably. Yeah.
He's the god.
Yeah, I don't know. No, but I never like played in a band where we would like play out or anything. It was always just a way to blow off steam and hang out with my friends and just have some fun.
I think that's a healthy way to do it because that's what it can be if you're not like driven to be like a musician. If that's not your goal in life, being able to still do it a lot and get what you need out of it is positive instead of trying to turn it into a job.
Yeah, well, whenever you like attach like aspirations or goals to something, it just starts to it loses its value in and of itself. And I was just like, I got a hard fucking path as it is with this other thing. Like I don't need to,
with this other thing.
I'm trying to do things that are only fun.
Yeah, only fun. So I guess this is going to come out tomorrow. Season 2 is coming. Is it all coming out, or is it just? It's all coming out, right?
I think it's everything. It's all 10 episodes, right at once.
When did you see them all?
I haven't seen all of them. They sent them to me like maybe 2 weeks, 10 days ago. It's difficult for me to watch, but I will watch them. But so I have 9 and 10 I still haven't watched. So I've seen the first 8 of them.
Is that something do you avoid watching yourself normally, or do you have to kind of get better?
I avoid watching it a lot most of the time for a few reasons. Without sounding too like self-indulgent, I just think most of the time when I'm working, I have a really nice day on the set. I love being on set. I love working with people. I like hanging out with actors and directors and writers and grips and everyone. And then so much happens between that day and then the product I see at home or whatever. And a lot of the time, it's frustrating and doesn't really reflect the joy I felt when I was making it. And so I've found over time that it's just nicer to kind of leave it there. Also from like a vanity standpoint, like, I don't know, like I don't like the way I look a lot of the time. And it just makes me feel bad,
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it.
But this show I watch because I'm so invested in it. And I started with it. I was there from the day one. That's my family, and so I'm curious, and I trust them too. Like that's another thing is I really trust Chris and Joanna and John.
I find that I feel like you guys, just from the time I've spent with you guys, that there's like I'm obviously not Mr. Hollywood. I'm not like, I don't really know how it goes, but it seems like you guys would like spend time together if you didn't have to. You know what I mean? Which doesn't seem, as a person who's done this, you've done this for a very long time, that's probably not always the case.
Yeah, dude, I'm not normally going out for some like J. Crew shoot with take pictures at 10 in the morning. Like, I mean, I was there for those guys just to hang out with those guys. We have a great time together. Also, as you know, Chris, like when you hang out with the Bear crew, like you eat well,
That's
those
true.
Guys get tables that I can't really fuck with, and
that's
so
true. That's true. There's multiple benefits.
Yeah, like I don't usually like the gratis caviar service. That doesn't really happen in my normal life,
So you're spoiled. We need this show to never get canceled, or else you're gonna start eating peanut butter and jellies again.
You're back slumming it.
Do you think we're ever gonna get a girls' reunion?
Oh man,
I had to ask.
Wow, that would be something else. No, I have no idea.
It'd be called Women, I guess.
Yeah, the wagons aren't circling. Is the question that I was prompted to ask by our friend Maddie Matheson. He wants an on-air review of his kind of acting because he has a more prominent role this season, and I think
does he?
Yeah, that's what I've been told by him. So I think that he kind of wanted you to give us
Rotten Tomatoes scale on Maddie's performance. Season 2.
Yeah, just kind of like, how did you feel sharing the stage with such an amateur? You know, did you have to kind of put him on your back? He's a big guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's very exciting to watch Maddie because it's kind of like watching someone learn to fly. Like if he's like running and jumping off the cliff with the paraglider,
yeah.
and sometimes he's gonna fall, sometimes he's gonna smash into the cliff on the other side, and sometimes he's gonna fly. You know, so you never know what you're gonna get. It's a good performance. It's not the most consistent performance on the show, but he's very committed and really invested and he tried a lot more, I think, in the second season than the first season. I think he is aware of it and wants to succeed. And I like doing scenes with Maddie. We're like scene partners in a lot of season 2, and he's he's fun to work with. I love Maddie.
I can't imagine the difference though of like being in, I mean, because you've done so much different stuff in your career, and I feel like sometimes you're with a guy like Maddie who's like never really done this before, and then sometimes you're with Sandra Bullock, and it's like like the difference in that is like, I don't know other careers, like other professions where you're kind of in that mix happens so often.
Yeah, no, you're right. You do get a big breadth, I guess. Like you work with kids or athletes or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that about the job. I like that kind of variety. I don't know. It's always, every job is super different. My process for every job is different. It's variety's the spice of life.
Damn, couldn't have said it better myself.
True that.
Evan, thank you for joining us today on How Long Gone. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, and we're all very excited about season 2, which will be streaming on FX on Thursday, June 22nd.
Yeah, FX on Hulu.
FX on Hulu.
FX on Hulu.
Yeah.
Share it with a friend. Binge it.
Share with a friend. Binge it. You know what I mean? Get those memes ready, for God's sakes. Let's
create memes.
Yeah, let's create I would like an Ebon meme this season. Let's see if we can make that happen, listeners. Let's figure out.
Jay, get your loved ones close. Mix up a pitcher of Bacardi and Diet, and sit back and enjoy.
Bacardi and Diet.
That's a Chicago drink. Yeah.
Bacardi and Diet.
Wow,
Diet anything
okay,
or Diet Coke?
I think it's Diet Coke. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've had Bacardi and Diet before. It ain't half bad.
Obviously, those guys in Chicago, they just know how to do things. But Ebon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys.
You guys go stream The Bear. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And hopefully I see you when you get back.
All right, guys. I'll keep listening. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.